Namaste and welcome back to the JavaScript series. In today's class, we are going to explore a concept which every programmer uses almost every single day while coding, which is also known as comparison operators, right? Now, name itself says comparison. Comparison means comparing two things. Now, what would you want to compare while writing code in JavaScript? Very simple. Many a times in programming, and please try to understand what is programming. Programming is all about creating logic. And sometimes how a logic is built is based on some conditions, right? Only if a condition is satisfied, we will proceed in one direction. If the condition is not satisfied, we may decide to take a different direction, right? And to decide, we will always have to compare. For example, while programming, you'll have to compare whether the age entered by a person is equal to 18. Or you'd like to check if the password entered by a person is equal to the actual password. You'd like to check if the username or the email entered by the person is actually equal to the username email which is registered in the system. I'm just giving you different examples, but I think you can think that multiple times we'll have to check whether the value present inside two variables are they equal or not, or compare two values and check if they're equal, right? Now, comparison in JavaScript is achieved in two ways. One is using an operator called as the equality operator, which is denoted by two assignments like this, which we in common language call as double equal to, right? And then we have something called as strict equality, which is symbolized by three assignment operators like this. Now, what is the difference between these two? And more is what we are going to explore now. Now, let's begin with a very simple example, okay? Watch this. Now, I'll just go here and I'll tell let age equal to 18. Okay, so the value inside this age variable is 18. Try to understand this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I just want to do a simple comparison, okay? And I want to print its output. So what I'll do is I'll just go and say console.log, and inside this I will tell age. Tell me if it is equal to 18. I hope you're able to understand. Now, what happens when you compare two variables? Very simple. Either it will be equal or it will be unequal. If it is equal, this is going to give us true. If it is unequal, it is going to give us false, which means always the result of comparison evaluates to either true or false. In other words, Boolean. Am I clear? Now, if in case I were to go here and if I were to execute this, clearly you can see the answer is true. Yes, age is equal to 18. But if I were to make this value inside age equal to 20 like this, and if I were to execute it, you can see false. I think it's very simple, right? Similarly, let us assume the username, right, that is actually present inside the system is, for example, tapacad like this. This is the username. Now let us assume you built a form in which a sign-in form in which a person is entering the username. Now let us assume the entered username, okay? So I will say entered underscore username like this. I'm just creating some variable like this, okay? Now this, let us assume, is something like tap, okay, ACAAD like this. Now I'd like to compare whether the entered username and the actual username are matching or not. Only in that case I would be signing in. So now I will just come here and I will be doing a simple thing where I will tell, okay, take the actual username and check if it is equal to the entered username. Like this, okay? And probably let me just make this a little smaller so that we have space. Yeah, great. Is this much clear to all of you? Now tell me, is the actual username and entered username the same? Absolutely not. So if in case I were to come here, clear the screen, and if I were to execute it, you can notice false. Yes? And if in case I were to probably, I'll just move myself a little so that you can see better. If in case I were to come here and fix this and make it as a CAD, and now if I were to clear this and execute it, now in this case clearly you can see the answer is true because yes, 100% it is matching. I hope you're able to understand. So basically this is basic comparison operators. I've compared a string with a string. I've compared a number with a number. Right? If I have to show you one more basic example, probably what I can do is I'll just remove these two. I'll go here and I'll say let has passport. equal to true. Let us assume you have a passport. Now I'll go and check, do you really have a passport? I'll check has passport. Please check if it is equal to maybe true, like this. Tell me, do you have a passport? Yes. Is true equal to true? Yes, right? So I'm comparing two booleans. Now if in case I were to execute, you can notice it is true. That's it. I hope everybody understood whatever it is I'm trying to explain here. Is this much clear? Very simple. All right. Well, this is all great, but now things suddenly get interesting. What do you mean? What's going to happen now, you may ask? Now what's going to happen is, I compared a number with a number. I compared a string with a string. I compared a boolean with a boolean. Now what if I try to compare a number with a string? If I try to compare a number with a boolean, if I try to compare a string with a boolean, yes? Now things get interesting in JavaScript. Because please understand, JavaScript is a loosely typed language, which means when you are writing code in JavaScript like this, you do not tell what is the type of the data that you are storing. JavaScript automatically decides it. I've already explained this to you. This is the meaning of a loosely typed language. And if there are any viewers who have only joined into this video, please understand this is a series and I would highly recommend you to go and watch the previous videos so that you have 100% clarity. Okay? Having said that, let me just go and remove all of this again. Now, if you focus, you will understand how to think about comparison when comparing different types. Otherwise, JavaScript in general will be very confusing for you. But don't worry, I won't let that happen. Let's start. The first example that I would like to do is, I would like to compare like this. Watch it. Look at the statement carefully. Console.log. So I'm printing the result of 5 and I'm checking if it is equal to. Now what is this? Please understand. In JavaScript, if you put something within double quotes or single quotes, in both cases, this is a string. So string can be encompassed or put inside double quotes also, single quotes also. There are some specific use cases as to when you should be using double quotes, single quotes, etc., which again I will in depth be covering when I take up strings. But coming back to what I'm saying now, this is a number, this is a string. Now what happens when you compare a number with a string? This is the interesting question, right? First of all, let me go here and just execute this and let me show you the output. Watch this. Upon executing, you can see it is saying true. Now what is internally happening? Please try to understand how JavaScript thinks. Now JavaScript sees this is a number. JavaScript sees this is a string. A number can be compared with a number, a string can be compared with a string, but a number cannot be compared with a string, right? Two different data types cannot be compared. Apple with apple comparison works, orange with orange comparison works, apple with orange comparison doesn't work. Now JavaScript decides to convert one of these values into the other type. So the decision is, should number be converted to string or should string be converted to a number? Always remember, when comparing number with string, it is the string which is always converted into a number. Am I clear? And that is why JavaScript will internally go and automatically convert this particular string into a number. You and me don't have to write any code. It happens automatically. Hope you understand. But if I had to do it, how I would be doing it is here. I'll go here and I'll just cut this. And tell me, if you remember in the last class, what is the built-in function to convert a string into a number? Absolutely right. The name of this built-in function itself is number. I'll put it inside this. Now try to understand. You're comparing 5, which is a number, with the string which has been converted to a number. Is 5 equal to 5? Yes, that is why you get true. Understood? But I don't have to write all this. JavaScript automatically does this. Yes, but internally same thing is happening. Whenever a programming language, without me explicitly asking it to convert, automatically does conversion. We call such a process as implicit conversion or implicit typecasting. How do you understand? Whenever we speak about typecasting, typecasting can be looked at as two types. One is called as explicit, one is called as implicit. In simple words, explicit typecasting means it is what the programmer types and performs, like what we did in the last class, where I decided to type code and convert. But in such cases where the language itself automatically, without me telling, decides to do it itself, we call it as implicit. English meaning of implicit is without explicitly telling. Yes? And this, my friends, is a beautiful example for implicit typecasting. And in JavaScript, implicit typecasting is also called as type coercion. It is also called a type coercion. So if you were to hear this word type coercion somewhere on the internet or in some book or in some blog, please understand they're talking about this implicit typecasting. I hope you understood. Wonderful, right? Now, please try to understand. JavaScript internally decided to convert this number to a string. But what if I want a situation where this is a number, this is a string. I don't want a number to be compared with a string. In fact, if it is a string, you don't convert it into a number, JavaScript. That is wrong. Don't do that. I want you to tell me that these two types are not the same and just stop the conversion then and there, right? Which means it is not the value which is important to me. Along with the value, what is also important to me is the type of the values being compared. Correct? If the type of the values being compared is not the same, please tell me that it is not the same and tell false. How do we achieve that? That, my friend, can be achieved by here. I'm going to just copy this line. I'm going to paste it again. And in this case, I will put the second type of comparison operator, which is called as strict equality. Both are comparison. Difference, this will compare only values and will ignore the type and will automatically convert the type such that the types match. But the thing about strict equality is values also should be the same and 100% type also should be the same. If type is not the same, all of you can observe this carefully. If I were to go here and if I were to execute, first one is telling true, yes, 5 equal to 5 because it converted 5 to number. Second one is telling false because it did not convert 5 to a number and these two types don't match. So whenever value also is important to you and type is also important to you, make it a habit of using strict equality. I hope all of you understood. Great. With the same flow, now let me pick up the pace. Let's try to compare few others, okay? For example, now look at this carefully, okay? Now I am comparing true with 1. Now this is Boolean, this is a number, correct? So now JavaScript cannot compare Boolean with a number. Boolean possible, number possible. So now automatically it will decide to convert one of them into the other type, right? So is it going to convert Boolean to number or number to Boolean? Please understand, whenever comparing Boolean with a number, JavaScript always chooses to convert the Boolean into a number. Hope you will understand. And in this case, if I were to convert this Boolean into a number, everybody knows how do you convert this into a number? Very simple. Make use of this built-in function called as number. And those of you who attended the last class know that whenever you compare Boolean to a number, true is 1, false is 0. Which means this gets converted to 1. Is 1, which is of type number, equal to value 1, which is of type number? Yes. In which case, if in case I were to go here and if I were to execute, answer is true. Even if I don't explicitly typecast, JavaScript will internally implicitly typecast, type coercion, and in this case also if I were to execute, you'll get the answer as true. Clear? But if you want it to be a little bit more strict, then you know the only difference is replace this equality with strict equality, and in this case if I were to execute, it is going to tell false this time. Why? Because 100% types don't match. I hope it is clear to all of you. Great. If this much is clear, then the next one I would like to show you is, this is something interesting. Let me show you Boolean and string. Boolean and string, right? So now, obviously, let me also just clear this terminal. Observe this carefully. How do we speak about Boolean and string? Let me show you. Now this is really interesting. We are trying to compare a Boolean with a string, right? Single quotes, double quotes, both are strings. Now try to understand. In this case, this is the operator what you have to the left side and the right side of an operator are called as operands. For example, plus is an operator. If I say 5 plus 5, 5 and 5 are operands, and in between both of them the operator is addition or plus, right? Now please try to understand, in all the cases I showed you so far, only one of these operands had to be converted to the other type. But in this case, we are going to have two steps. For example, first of all, whenever you compare a boolean with a string, step 1 is it is going to convert this string to a number, right? So what it is going to do is it will go here and now it will say, please convert this like this. That is step 1. Okay. Now when I compare this string 1 to number, it is going to become 1, number 1. Now true, I cannot compare it with 1 because boolean cannot be compared with number. Number I can compare, boolean I can compare, no problem. Now it will go and it will compare this convert this boolean also into the number like this. I hope you are able to see this. Let me just reduce the size a little. Yeah, I think this much is clear to everyone. Yes. So now please tell me if you remember, if I compare true to number, what will I get? 1. If I convert this, what will I get? 1. 1 double equal to 1. Type is all the same, value is also same. 100% I will be going here and getting the output as true, right? But there is no need for us to do any of this because whatever steps I showed you will implicitly happen and you'll get the same output. Great. Whereas if you don't want this to happen, just go here, make it a strict equality, in which case, because the types don't match, 100% you'll get the answer as false. I think this much clarity all of you have got. Let's proceed and look at the other types. All right, then let's look at certain other cases as well. I've written down multiple cases. We will be exploring them one by one and I'll be making the pace a little bit faster because I think the fundamentals are clear to all of you now. Okay, let's start by first comparing null and undefined. Now, those of you who are new to programming, you will be like, Rohit, what is this 2 double slashes that you're putting here, right? Please try to understand, friends. If I remove this, please understand, you see the color changes. If I put this, the color changes because this is technically called as a comment in JavaScript. A comment is basically a line in your program which does not get executed. I repeat, a comment is a line in your program which does not get executed. Because it doesn't get executed, we use comments to write things about our code, right? For example, for documentation, for descriptions, etc., we make use of comments. Now, if you use double slash in front of any line, that entire line gets commented. That entire line gets commented, right? So please understand, this entire line gets commented. But if you want multiple lines to be commented, it is slash star, star slash. Whatever you put in between this, all of those lines get commented. There is no need to by heart any of this. Please keep writing code, it becomes subconscious. All right. Anyways, now you can clearly see I'm trying to compare null and undefined. Now see, I'll just uncomment this. So if I uncomment it, now this is code which will get executed, right? Okay, awesome. Let me move myself out of the way. Now try to understand. When you compare null with undefined using equality, what happens? Please understand, if you're not using strict equality, JavaScript treats null and undefined as the same. As a matter of fact, you are going to get this as true. But in the second case, when we use strict equality, because null and undefined types are different, we are going to get false. So in a general normal equality, null and undefined are same. In strict equality, they're not the same. So first one is true, second one is false. Look at the output carefully. If I were to just go here and if I were to, okay, let me remove all this, node, what is the name of this file, exmp.js, and press enter. First one is true, second one is false as per expectation. All right, great. Now, since this is clear, I will just go back and I would like to comment this again like this. So see, now it is commented. Great. Now, try to understand. Now I'll uncomment this. Now watch this. I'm trying to compare an empty string with 0. Now one way to analyze this is, okay, first and foremost, this empty string is converted into a number. When you convert an empty string to a number, what happens? An empty string converted into a number always results in 0. Always results in 0. Now, is 0 equal to 0? Yes. 100% you are going to get the output as true. But if you don't want to do all this conversion, one easy way to remember is, do you remember recently I taught you about truthy and falsy values in JavaScript? And I told you a non-empty string is always, when converted to Boolean, evaluates to true. An empty string, whenever you convert it, evaluates to be false. False as a number is 0, true as a number is 1, right? So because this is a falsy value, if you convert it into a number, it is going to give you 0 only. That is one easy way to remember it. So is 0 equal to 0? Yes, you will get the answer as true. But when you apply strict equality, you know types matter. String and number types are not same. You should get the answer as false. Will that happen? 150% it will. You can see first one is true, second one is false. I think this is also clear to all of us. I'll comment these lines of code. Now I'm going to come here and let me uncomment these lines of code. I am now comparing a Boolean and an empty string. Now please try to understand. False, compare it with an empty string. Again, one way to think about it, convert it into a number and all of that. Another easier way is empty string is a falsy value. So this is also false, this is also false. Is false equal to false? Yes, this will be true. However, next time when you use triple equal to, false is Boolean, this is string. 100% the type doesn't match, the answer should be false, right? Let's have a look at it. If in case I clear the screen and if I were to execute it, true and false as per our expectation. Wonderful. Next, I'll again comment this back. Let's go down and let's uncomment this line where I'm trying to compare null and false. Please understand, whenever you use a normal equality operator, right, and null, you compare it with false. Please try to understand this. I'll just execute and show you the output. You can decide for yourself. What is the answer? False. Null and false are not to be treated as the same. When I teach you object orientation, you will understand null is a value given to the reference of an object. It has nothing to do with Boolean. It has nothing to do with true and false. So null must not be confused with false. Null and undefined are treated as the same, but not null and false. Am I clear till here? Great, wonderful. And even if you were to put a triple equal to also, how does it matter? When double equal to only gave you false, this will also give you false, right? Great. All right, this is also clear to us. I'll comment this back. Now I'll come down and let's look at the next one. Undefined and 0. Undefined and 0. So undefined and null, again you can consider them. Undefined and 0 are not the same, because undefined is a value given to a variable which does not have any value inside it, but 0 is a value in itself. They are not the same. And hence, if I were to go here, if in case I were to execute it, as per our expectation, we got it as false. You make it triple equal to also, you'll get it as false. All right, great. Moving forward, I will again uncomment this, come down. Let's check another unique numeric value which is not a number. So not a number, I'm checking normal equality, not a number. Then strict equality. If you just look at the output, false and false. Please try to understand, not a number, is it equal to not a number? Does it make any logical sense? It's not even a number. What comparison are you doing? So in both cases, you will get the answer as false, okay? So these are certain things which again in your multiple choice questions, they can ask you in an interview, and hence I'm just running it through this. There is hardly any practical purpose to all of this while building projects, and trust me, we'll be building some amazing projects throughout this series, right? Let me also just clear the screen. Let's come back down. String and Boolean. Yeah, this is interesting. So let me just remove this comment for you. You can notice this. String and Boolean, I'm comparing true with true. Now, one way to think about this is, string cannot be compared with Boolean. So what is going to happen is, JavaScript is going to convert a string to a number. So let's try to understand this. If I were to convert this to a number, now you only think logically. If I convert true to a number, string true to a number, what will I get? Is true a number? No. And whenever you try to convert something which is not logically a number into a number, JavaScript always gives you not a number. This is common sense. Yes. Not a number, is it equal to true? Now, if I convert true to a number, you know, whenever you convert true to a number, answer is 1. Not a number, is it equal to 1? No, no means false. That's it. Understood? And all this we don't have to do because anyways, implicitly conversion will happen. If you use double equal to here, false equal to false. Same thing. Convert this to a number, not a number. Convert this into a number, false converted to number is 0. Is not a number equal to 0? No. Which means in both cases, we should be getting false and false as the answer. Please try to understand false and false. I hope logically I've made sense. And the advantage is, since this is a video recording, you can always go back and listen to my words multiple times if there's any confusion, right? Great. Let's move forward. Now, okay, ignore that. Let me comment this as well. Awesome. Now, the last part I would like to show you is this, where I'm converting string numbers and numbers. Now, 0, 0, 1, which is a string, compare it with 1. Again, concept is simple. Convert this fellow into a number. When you convert 0, 0, 1 into a number, you're going to get the number 1. Those zeros are ignored. 1. Now, number 1 is equal to number 1. Yes, answer is true. In this case, please understand, convert this also into a number. 0, 1, 0. If I convert it into a number, obviously it will ignore this first 0. So, what is the value that I have? 10. So, if I convert this string into a number, I'll get 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Yes. So, in both cases, answer should be true. Yes? Watch it. If in case I execute it, true and true. I hope everybody understood this much. Let me see if I have something else designed here for you. Yeah. Last but not the least, number and null. Please try to understand 0 and null are not the same. 0 is a value, null is a value given to an object's reference, which again, time and again I'm telling, in object orientation we will explore. Answer is going to be false. Is 0 equal to undefined? Again, makes no logical sense. 0 is a value, undefined is that which is given to a variable which for whom you have not defined what should be the value. And hence in both cases, we are going to be getting false. If in case I execute it, false and false. I think I have spent sufficient time in clarifying the common misunderstandings people have while trying to understand comparison operator in JavaScript. But you, my dear friends, are not going to face that issue. Anyways, thank you so much for attending. I'll catch you in the next class.